Stanislav, I'm from Ukraine, being here in the US on U4U or TPS, and I kind of like this country. My kids love it, they love going to school, my spouse loving it. So I was wondering, how can I get my green card while I'm here in the US? So today we're going to be discussing these important topics, and at the end of this video you will be able to learn how to get a free evaluation of your case. Let's go! Hello my dear friends, I'm Stanislav Shamayev, a licensed business immigration and corporate attorney in Miami, Florida. And today we're discussing a very important topic of our dear people from Ukraine who are here in the US on U4U program or TPS. And we're going to be discussing the types of visas that are available to you, and also we will be discussing the procedural part of how to adjust your status from whatever status you're in to the green card. Let's start from very beginning. I'm specializing in talent visas, in national waiver interest visas, in work visas and business visas. Okay, this is my specialty, and my entire corporation, which is about 100 people, we all work to get you approved for those type of visas. Now, what are the options that you will have when you want to get the green card? So I'll go from less popular to more popular programs, okay? So we'll start with something, but wait till the end because that's where all the juice is. Program number 1, EB-5. EB-5 is a large investment program that is available to those of you who have a large budget. How much money should you invest in the US to get that type of visa? That is at least $800,000. That's for the passive investment. When you give your money to the regional center, a company that's accredited by the US government, and they use that money to build hotels, roads, bridges, whatever they build, creating the jobs. This money is refundable. Within 5 to 7 years, you'll be able to get it back with a little interest on it, all right? So the active part of this program is when you invest $1,050,000 in your own company, and you're the one to direct and control this company, and you're the one to be responsible to create 10 jobs within 2 years after the first approval. These are the two options for EB-5. They're both very viable. All we need to prove that you made your money legally. That could be your money from Ukraine, from Europe, or you could have made it here in the US. Okay, no problem. You could make the American money. Is still good for this program as well. Program number 2, EB-4. This is a religious visa. For those of you who have some kind of relationship with the church, or you work in the church, or you have the religious education, and you have to have an employer in the US, okay? You must have some kind of religious organization sponsoring you. So this is one of the options as well. Option number 2 and option number 3, EB-2 and EB-3 programs. Those are the classic labor certification visas where you have to have an employer in the US. So let's say you came here, you started working, your employer like, oh my God, I love your ethics, I love your professionalism, I love the results, I want to sponsor you for the green card. In that case, EB-2 and EB-3 are the very good options for you. They are a little bit longer than others because the minimum time frame for EB-2, for example, is probably around 2.5 years from the time you started the process. Some options under EB-3 could be up to 4 and 4.5 years. A little bit long to my taste, but still pretty viable options, and we do use them. Last week we got an approval for our client from Ukraine on EB-3 visa. She's a project manager in a trucking company. Her process took about 2 years, and by the way, she was leaving the US and coming back, getting everything done through the embassy, okay? And we'll talk about it a little bit later. EB-2, EB-3, PERM, labor certification, you're kind of dependent on some somebody else, right? Some company, some Uncle Sam who is going to be helping you with this process. You want to ask me, Stanislav, okay, I don't have $1 million. I'm not a church employee. I don't have anyone here in the US who will help me to sponsor myself. Do you have anything where things are under my control? Actually, I have two options for you, and both of them are my specialty. Those visas are the main ones in my corporation that we focus on and do them every day. We file about 30 cases a month, and 70% of them are the EB1A and EB2 NIW. Okay, the talent visas and national interest waiver visa. So those two visas are the only two exceptions in immigration laws in the US that do not require the US employer. Meaning, you may self-petition without having any other employer whom you don't know, whom you don't trust, whom you gotta be dependent on. Let's talk about them one by one. EB1A is a talent visa, extraordinary person. So there are 5 categories in this visa: business, science, art, education, and sport. You could fall within one of those categories, or you could be somewhere in between, because there are some new professions in this world that are a part of this and that. So don't worry about that, this is not a problem. I know what you worry about, and you'll be like, okay, Stanislav, sure, what an option. I read the USCIS website, and it says that people with Oscar and Grammy and Nobel Prize can get the talent visa. I wish I had the clients like that, okay? Sometimes we get like Olympic champion, world record champion, something, something really fascinating. But the majority of my clients, 90%, are just good professionals in their field. How does USCIS measure the talent? Well, there are 10 criteria, and we need to prove at least 3 of them. What are those criteria? Awards, press about you, judging the work of other professionals, professional associations, contribution in the field, critical leading role in a company with high reputation, your commercial success, you're making more money than others, your academic scientific articles. So those 8 criteria, they suit for any category. But we also have 2 additional criteria for the art talents, okay? If you're an artist, if you're a dancer, if you're a musician, if you're a beauty master, if you're a model, so all this is art. Here we have the showcase when you exhibit your work, a gallery, a museum, a festival, your movies playing on the screen. That's the 9th one. And the 10th one is a commercial success in the performing arts. So when you do something on a stage or it's a movie and it brings the money, okay? People come and pay the price, so that's the 10th criteria. So we need to satisfy 3 criteria out of the 10, but I like to make it 6. And for the years of practicing in this area, with a success rate 90 to 95% for those petitions that we file, we developed a lot of projects and we build a lot of relationship with people who will help you to work out your other criteria that are not yet satisfied, okay? You may have 2-3 criteria in the beginning, like critical leading role, your higher income, and let's say contribution in the field, okay? Or academic articles. I guarantee we will be able to help you to close, to satisfy 3 more criteria. And we have the PR agencies, we have the people who will draft the business plan if we have to. We can register a company for you, we can do the corporate work for you. We know the good translators who can help you with the translations and things like that. So it's almost like one-stop shop for you, okay, for those type of visas. I like to file with 6 criteria, sometimes 5 if they're very deep and very prestigious, but 6 is my best recipe. Visa number 2, the EB2 NIW. So that one requires a higher education, bachelor's and 5 years of experience, or master's degree, or exceptional ability. And exceptional ability is like close to extraordinary ability under EB1A, but much with much lower evidentiary proof. So I'm not going to list them all, but just remember, if you don't have enough education, we can substitute it with something else. So those are prerequisites. That's the first step for qualification for EB2 and IW. Now, we need to have some proposed project that will be in the national interest of the US government. That may sound a little like, what could be in the national interest? Well, a lot of approvals that we have for this type of petitions are in STEM category: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So if you're an IT person, if you're a cyber security specialist, if you're an engineer, if you're a doctor, if you're a businessman who brings the innovation and technology, so this type of visa is more for you. Okay, and if you ask me, Stanislav, what's the best place to look for the proposed project? What should I propose? I will tell you, look back in your past. Okay, look at what you've been doing for the past 5 to 10 years and how you can pass that experience here in the US. Let me give you a few examples. Just recently, we got an approval EB2 and IW for our client. He's a manager, he's an executive in the company, but he brings a new technology, how to create a better base for the big buildings. He will be working in a construction company, putting that technology in. All right. I have an approval for my client from Ukraine, who is a civil engineer, and he proposed the consulting services for big engineering companies in the US that are building the high buildings, and he's designing the infrastructure within the building. If you are into science, you continuing to develop the science here in the US could be also a project. Optimization of the processes, modernization of the production, engineering services, bringing some innovation technologies. We have EB2 and IW for a guy who brought the technology to increase the yield in the crops. Okay, he developed some fertilizer that they put on the crops, and they yield 30% more than without it. So that's the national interest, right? So they're resolving some problems, and that's in the national interest of the US. These two visas are for those of you who do not want to rely on anybody else. And before I continue how to adjust your status, I will explain to you how to get a free evaluation of your case, meaning that you can get a free analysis if you can apply for this type of visas. How to do that? Go down below this video. Find the links. They're going to say talent visa, national interest visa, work visa, or investment visa. You can fill out one form or all of them. It doesn't really matter. Within 2 days, I will get back to you and tell you which programs are best for you, which criteria you're satisfied, which you did not, and most importantly, if you have the potential in your case. Having potential in your case means that we can, within the next 6 months, strengthen your case, pack it up, file it, and get you approved with the chances more than 90%. Okay, that means you have the potential. And if you do, I will invite you to the complex immigration planning. That happens in 2 phases. First, you meet with the data manager who is going to suck out all the information from you, put it in a protocol, and then you will meet with me, and based on that protocol, I will create a written winning strategy for your case. You're gonna know everything about your future, all right? And you will get the documents afterwards, and also a list of documents that supports the programs you will be able to get your green card for. So very important, free evaluation below this video is your first step to bring your entire family to the green card. All right, so let me give you a few examples what could be your case and how we're gonna resolve those cases. Case number 1, you either came to the US through the border and got U4U, or you were here in the US in the asylum and got U4U, or you were here illegally and you got U4U. For those situations, you need to do 2 steps. Step number 1, you change your status to TPS, temporary protected status. Step number 2, you get the advanced parole, you leave the country, and you come back. Once you do all of those, we will be able to adjust your status in the US without you leaving. That's example number one. Example number two, when you came to the US with U4U, or you came here with TPS, you crossed the border but through the airport. Let's put it this way. In this case, if you're on U4U, you need to change to TPS, and if you are in TPS, that's it. You do not have to get the advanced parole, leave and come back, okay? Because TPS resolves that issue. We can adjust your status with approved EB1A, EB2 NIW, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5, any of those visas, okay, without you leaving. If for whatever reason you cannot get TPS, or you cannot get advanced parole, or there's some difficulties, or you don't want to deal with this, there is a third option where you can be on U4U up until the moment when you get your interview scheduled in Poland or Germany. You leave US by that date, you go through that, and you get your immigrant visas and your passport, and you come back with the green cards. And I know some of you guys like, oh, no, you fear to leave the US. Some of you even fear to get the advanced parole and leave and come back. It's scary stuff because you already love this country and you don't want to leave, you want to be here, your kids love it. I know, but there is no like magic pill I can give you and everything is fine. But I think the second option resolves pretty much everybody else's problems, or the first one. So you guys need to take into consideration those options. But anyway, I want to meet with you and discuss all the options in details. Step number one, free evaluation. Step number two, complex immigration planning. Step number three, hiring my company and my team. And step number four, deciding how you're gonna do the TPS, U4U, embassy, not embassy, advanced parole, and all these things will bring you to the green card. Smash that like button for this video, comment, ask questions, subscribe to my YouTube channel because I release a lot of good stuff in English for any type of immigration that I specialize in. Also, I have TikTok and Instagram. Please follow me there as well. My name is Stanislav Shamayev. I'm a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.